Good morning. Very good to see you, and I'll start off by addressing the situation relating to Dr. Farish Noor. He unfortunately had a heart problem last weekend, and I've been in contact with him, and he had to go back into hospital today. So apologies for him not being here, but he cannot. But what I'd like to do is something a bit unusual, and I'd like to use you and your healing power. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, "Get well soon, Farish." Okay. And this is an unusual start to a conference, but that's an unusual thing. So I'm going to record you. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Get well soon, Farish. Thank you very much. And now that's quite a responsibility now, because I think he does need to get well soon. Now we've made that effort for him, and we're going to send all our love and thoughts towards him. My name is Joseph Haldane, and I'm the chairman and CEO of IAFOR, the International Academic Forum. And I'm really, very happy to be welcoming you to Tokyo, Japan. And this, of course, Japan is our conference home. And this is our flagship conference, the Asian Conference on Education, which was started in 2009. We first had it in Osaka, then we moved to Kobe, and then we moved up to Tokyo, the big smoke. And you are here in the world's largest grouping of people, at the very heart of the world's largest grouping of people. So we're somewhere between 750 and 800 over these next few days, and we are in a city of approaching 40 million people. So welcome to Tokyo, welcome to Japan, welcome to ACE. First time in Japan. Okay, that's about half of you, maybe even 2/3 of you. So I should have started first time in Tokyo and first time in Japan. I'm assuming that there's some correlation there. I'm not very good at these things, but I'm assuming so. One of the great strengths of this particular conference, and I'd like us to just introduce this and have this in mind, is we are IAFOR, and IAFOR is international, intercultural, and interdisciplinary. Those three things: international, intercultural, and interdisciplinary. And one of the things that you need to have in your mind at the very beginning, engaging with this conference, is that we come from a lot of very different countries around the world, a lot of different cultures, religions, and of course, we come from a lot of different disciplines. Now, the things that create academic wars, the international, intercultural tends to be fine, but the interdisciplinary, that's where you get some people really staking out there. This is where I am, and I don't go over there, or I don't do this. But education is perhaps the ultimate interdiscipline in and of itself. And we, working as educators, are, of course, always looking to be able to increase our armory, increase our intellectual armory, and look to other disciplines to engage with. And certainly my hope is that's what you're here to do. So this, how do you do international? How do you do intercultural? Well, this is an exercise over the next 2-3 days. We've seen certainly that throughout the world, where we have governments in different countries with increasingly perhaps worrying nationalistic, authoritarian tendencies, that sort of that role a government should play is abdicated. That moral authority in some ways is abdicated. And that is where the academic, if you like, the track 2 relationships, the person-to-person relationships, the institution-to-institution relationships become all the more important. IAFOR is not about condemning one country or another. There are no good or bad countries as far as we are concerned. There might be good or bad governments. And in bringing you all together, you are each a diplomat and a representative of your own country and of your own background. So that is quite an honor, but it's also, I think, a reasonable responsibility. So you've come from wherever you are in the world, and for some people, you will be the first representative or the first person from that country they've ever met. That's wonderful. It's great. And it's also, as I say, it's a responsibility. Now, the engagement in the international, the engagement in the intercultural, I'm thinking you're probably reasonably good at this. And if you're not, it's a time to practice. It's not role playing, it's real. You're going to have to meet people from other countries, other cultures, other places. And we have, as I said, we're over 750 somewhere. These figures were done a few weeks ago, so they're not entirely accurate, but we're somewhere between 750 and 800. And I'd just like to do what I usually do at this time, and that's go through those countries so you are aware. Now, I come from Britain, from England, which is the best part of Britain, of course. There's some people who might disagree, and we have a sport called football. Have you heard of football? Yeah. Yes. So I'm going to show you these things. You know what these are? Red card and yellow card. In actual fact, they're going to be used for your timekeeping in the session. Okay. Because if there's one thing that academics are horrendous at, it's keeping time. It's keeping time. If I had my way, you'd actually be standing on trapdoors that would disappear. But the main thing is the keeping time. This is 5 minutes, which means you have 5 minutes left. Not around 5 minutes, not about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's 5 minutes. And this is stop. And this is stop now. It's not stop in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You know who you are. You know who I'm speaking to. So in this here, we have the yellow and the red card. So that will be something you'll be looking out for. But continuing the football theme, this is quite a lazy transition, actually, but continuing the football team, we have a huge number of countries represented. If you're here from a country, you can put your hand out or give a shout, or again, depending on where you come from culturally. There aren't many Japanese who would put their hand up and shout. There are some other countries which might do. We'll see whether our stereotypes are challenged in that way. Okay, on one representative. Imagine the responsibility you have if you are the representative of that one country. Okay. So that means people are going to go back and they're going to go, oh no, this country is awful, or this country is wonderful based on you. So, okay, here we go on one. Tunisia, Tanzania, Sri Lanka, Slovenia, Serbia, Peru, Pakistan, Netherlands, Morocco, Macau, Jamaica. I must admit that did conform to expectation, but I'm glad it did. Israel, Ireland, Ghana, France, Czech Republic, Colombia, Chile, Cayman Islands, and Belgium. On two, Uganda, Spain, Slovakia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Norway, Mongolia, Mexico, Maldives, Lithuania, Croatia, Costa Rica, and Austria. Quite quiet people there. On three, Portugal, Nigeria, Nepal, Kuwait, Hungary, Germany, and Brunei. Yes, I see some hands waving back there. On four, Oman, Bhutan. On five, New Zealand, Italy, New Zealand and Italy. Where are the Italians? No Italians? We're having coffee, yeah. On seven, Bangladesh. Very good. Yes, excellent. Welcome. On 10, Canada. Yes, some waves back there. 11, Brazil. Yeah, there we go. I think in Brazil they play football as well. I'm not quite sure. On 12, the United Arab Emirates and India. Excellent. On 13, Vietnam. Yes. On 14, Kazakhstan. Yes. Oh, and some national dress there. On 19. Oh, the best country. Yes, that's right. It's the United Kingdom. Yes. Very good. Also on 19, South Africa. Excellent. 20, South Korea. That's a cultural juxtaposition. Australia, 23. Yes. Aussies are in the house. Hong Kong on 26. Excellent. Welcome. On 35. On 35. Wait for it. It's the United States of America. Yes. Yes. Well, they're unusually shy. On 36, China. Oh, and they're all over there. They're all over in the China. You're going to have to mix. You're going to have to mix. On 39, Malaysia. Yes. Malaysia, truly Asia. Very good. See, I get paid by the Malaysian Tourist Board if I say that. Indonesia, 41. On 46, Singapore. Very good. So they're out the back. On 47, Japan. Yes, 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 yes. Come on. We are in Japan. We are in Japan. So if you're from Japan and you are Japanese, then you need to make these people feel very, very welcome because it's your country. I'm just its representative. On 61, Taiwan. 61, so I'm at the back, yes. In second position, it is on 78, Thailand. Yes. And in first place, you've probably guessed who you are. We can't keep you away. It's 99 from the Philippines. And there you go. We've got to find another from the Philippines. Okay, well, we can search. Okay, so congratulations to the Philippines for winning our competition of attendees at ACE. Very, very happy to have you here. So a little bit of the boring stuff. That is that if you are not a member, who is a member of IAFOR? Hands up if you are. Yeah, about half. If you're not a member, then you should become a member. It's a great value proposition. We are in different countries around the world, and where we are in different countries around the world, we put as much as possible online. We encourage you to attend as much as you can online, both within the plenary and where possible, the parallel sessions, and that will enable you to see presentations in your field and in fields in which you have interest. So please do look at that, and we're always trying to develop that program. We have journals, our Journal of Education, which was founded about 10 years ago, is in Scopus. It's Q3 moving up to Q2 very, very shortly, and it's on a swift ascendancy. And of course, that ascendancy will be helped by you submitting your work and making it even better. So please do check that out. We also have a number of other Scopus listed journals. Again, please look at our publications. It's all online. We are in, this is 15, ACE 15, so it's our 15th year. And so we're very, very happy to have you here. In 2009, we started, as I say, in Osaka, and we were just in Japan. The idea was that this was a Japan-based conference to be able to get people to come to Japan, experience Japan, and for Japanese to engage with people from other countries. So that was the idea. We expected there to be about 50% Japanese, but right from the beginning, we found that there were a huge number of people coming from abroad who were interested in visiting and experiencing Japan. And that's become one of the great strengths of this conference. Originally, we were just Japan-based, but in 2011, we had an earthquake. I don't know whether you remember this. There was an earthquake which caused a tsunami, which knocked out a nuclear power plant, and people stopped coming to Japan. They were forced to stop coming, flights were cancelled, etc., as people sort of went into panic mode. And so the conferences that we had that were meant to be 250, 260, whatever people at that time, we ended up with like 30 or 40 people because people stayed away from Japan. And that led us to sort of think, well, we've got all our eggs in one basket. We need to move internationally. We need to be able to sort of start in other places. And so we moved to the UK. And the reason for and the choice for the UK was quite simply that we could do something there. It was my hometown, and I already had certain connections to be able to put a conference there. And we then started to develop conferences overseas in different places, and we've ended up sort of planting seeds all over the world. And the idea, essentially strategically, was there's no point at which international travel is going to be stopped for every country, everywhere on Earth. And of course, that's precisely what happened in 2020. So in 2020, when we had the coronavirus problem, you couldn't do events and you couldn't travel internationally. And you may have noticed that we do events and it requires people to travel internationally. So that for us was a very, very existential threat. And luckily, we had already put in place the structures for presenting online. And if you remember, previous to that period, online presenting or online engagement was perhaps not given the recognition that it should have been. People sort of said, well, you've got an online degree. Oh, that's nice. It's not a proper degree, but it's an online degree. And, oh, you study online. And the same with presentations. What, a presentation online? That's not the same. Well, of course it's not the same. But is it worth something? Is it worth that engagement? Were those phone calls worth something? Were those Zoom calls with loved ones worth something? Of course they were. And we moved online and we actually were able to put a lot more things out to a far wider audience. So now this is a hybrid conference. We have the cameras there. Hello, if you're watching at home. You're probably not in a suit, you're probably in your pajamas, but welcome. That we're able to reach more people around the world. But this is still very much a work in progress. How we write the future, how we create hybrid conferences. It's almost like we would need to have a group of educators from around the world to help us do it. And guess what? You're it. So over the next few days, we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear you engaging. And if you're somebody who's an expert in online education, then please do engage with us, because I'm certainly not, but it's certainly something I've had to get used to and present online. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm, again, in a bit of a, you may notice this as a bit of an extension. We're going to introduce you to a few of the people who have been with us for quite a while and who are about in this conference and who are members of the board and who are advisors, and they will get up and wave. And then should you wish to see them and contact with them, ask more about the organization, of course you can see me, but we also have some wonderful board members here. I'd like to recognize Professor Dexter Da Silva. Perhaps you can get up, of Chuo University, Japan. Professor De Silva is an educational psychologist, a PhD from the University of Sydney, who works in several universities in Japan. He's now emeritus at Keisei University. He's been involved in IAFOR since 2011, and is very much one of the drivers of program that we do here. So again, Professor De Silva. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge Professor Jim McNally of the University of Michigan Ann Arbor, Big Jim there, and he is a gerontologist and a research scientist, and he will be also presenting later in the day. If you're interested in grants, money, then this guy is going to be giving a workshop on that, and also a member of our social sciences board, Professor Sela Panapasa of again the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. I'd like to recognize Professor educational psychologist psychologist Professor Monty Satyadharma, former rector of Tarumanagara University in Indonesia, who has been with us again since 2011 and a key advisor. We do have a number of other people around who will be able to say hello. Thank you, Monty. Now, last but not least, I'd like to recognize a dear friend and colleague of mine, Professor Grant Black of Chuo University, Japan. And we're going to talk to you very, very briefly. If we have another microphone, don't we? Yes. We're going to talk to you very briefly about the Asian Undergraduate Research Symposium, which is starting at the moment. Sorry, tomorrow, but that we've run for a few years. About 5 or 6 years ago, because one of the important things that we're trying to do here is capacity building. So the things that you might take for granted as senior professors, such as how to present, how to sort of do poster presentations, those things, for junior academics, for undergraduates, they perhaps need a bit of practice. Is it your first time presenting in an academic conference? Anyone here? Yeah. Okay, so we do have people. If you're presenting here in the regular thing, of course you are a postgraduate or already, of course, the majority of you, we're already well on the way in our careers. But we also have the Undergraduate Research Symposium, and that is aimed at final year undergraduate students, and we will be having a session tomorrow. So Grant, perhaps you can tell us a bit more about what that thing is and what its aims are.
Well, thanks, Joe. Yeah, we've been, our session tomorrow is our 11th Asian Undergraduate Research Symposium, and it presents an amazing opportunity for undergraduate students who might be interested in pursuing an academic career, also students who are just exceptional, and they've already started doing their own research, and it gives them an opportunity to do a presentation in a formal setting.
Okay, so what are some of the exercises that they might be expected to do? Because they have to present a poster presentation.
Right, exactly. So we have the program set up as a 2-day session. Of course, we had to go through the similar process as Dr. Haldane was describing, right, of moving everything online. So we had a time where we did the whole thing online. And now that's allowed us to separate the 2 days. So the first day we did online, and we had people joining us from around the world in different time zones for that. And then many of them are going to be coming now to Tokyo. Some of them have already arrived, and they'll be here as part of this session, part of this conference tomorrow for their poster session to present their posters. So on that first day, we start and go through everything. They've already submitted an abstract to go through a review to be accepted, but we have a look at their the abstract process, about the process for participating in a conference, For our session this time, we had a guest a speaker, a young academic who is an IAFOR conference participant, who talked to them a little bit about the journey, the possibilities, the excitement of being a part of research and doing conferences. And then we analyzed the poster process, gave them opportunities for peer review and helping each other. And so it was a 3-hour session. It was very exciting. They seemed very happy. They were glad to be able to meet each other, and then very excited to be able to come to Tokyo and meet each other in person here. So if you're here tomorrow, it's going to be in the afternoon. The poster session, I think, is around 4 o'clock or something like that. Let me double check.
On
Thursday, it's tomorrow. 4:15 to 5:45 tomorrow. If you're around, please come in and support these young researchers. They will be delighted to present their research to you.
Page 34 in your programs, there's a little overview on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that in doing this, and again we did this first of all, 2019, we had it here. That was the last time we were able to do it with students here, and now it's great that they're coming back after a few years, and that we're going to do that. So if you can come along and support, ask questions and engage, and if you think this is something that would interest your students in the future, then please do get involved. We're in talks with a number of different foundations to try and make this entirely free, because we think it's a very important aspect of the capacity building. And anything you'd like to add there?
Well, there is. You saw the announcement earlier. There is going to be a workshop if you're interested. We'll talk about the things in more detail, and we can maybe network, and maybe you're interested for your students or participating and being involved in it. So that workshop will be today.
Later today after the plenary sessions.
Yes.
Okay.